David Axelrod is the political advisor to President Obama, of course. In the New York Times article on the kill list, it said that Axelrod was sitting in on the Terror Tuesday meetings where they would decide who to execute. David Axelrod now on the Sunday morning shows came out and denied that. Let's watch.
In one account, it says that you were present at a national security meeting when the president was making decisions on which terrorists we were going to track down and kill.
That's not true.
And you're just simply saying it isn't true.
I'm flat out asserting that that is not true. There were meetings, I know there were weekly meetings dealing with terrorist threats and planning around it, but I did not attend those meetings.
Now, who's right, who's wrong? You know, it's hard to tell, of course, but is Axelrod and political considerations involved in these overall decisions? Of course they are. Look, even if you gave Axelrod the benefit of the doubt and you took him at his word and saying he did not attend those meetings, is there a political element to this? Obviously. Remember, it was the administration that largely leaked that story to the New York Times. You would say, my God, this kill list story that could be so damaging to a so-called progressive president, why would they do that? Because they are trying to show how tough the president is. Look at how easily the president kills civilians abroad. He's so tough. Do you understand how tough he is? So is Axelrod part of that decision-making process? Of course he is. In fact, there's a new book out by Daniel Klaidman. It's called Kill or Capture: The War on Terror and the Soul of the Obama Presidency. The book is actually officially being released tomorrow, and he will actually be on the Young Turks on the television show at 7 o'clock Eastern tomorrow on Tuesday's program. It's a really interesting book. You don't want to miss that interview. Part of the reason is apparently Axelrod and Eric Holder literally nearly literally got into a fight. They were almost chest thumping with one another in the hallway, and Valerie Jarrett had to separate them, according to this story. And it's because, you know, Axelrod was mad that Eric Holder publicly was accusing Axelrod of trying to put political operatives inside the Justice Department. Now, I find the whole fight between those two a bit of a joke anyway, because it's only about perception. Does the Justice Department appear to be politicized or not? Axelrod says, I'm not Karl Rove, but in fact, in a lot of ways, he is, of course. You remember, we used to complain that Karl Rove was being paid by the United States taxpayers, but yet he was inside the Bush administration giving political advice and firing U.S. attorneys, local U.S. attorneys, for not doing political actions, etc. Now, has Axelrod done something as extreme as the last part of that? Not as far as we know, right? But does he get paid by the taxpayers? Yes. Is he a political operative for the president? Yes. Why is he being paid by taxpayers? I don't know. I read another story about how David Plouffe is in the White House now, and he's looking at a U.S. map and trying to figure out how President Obama is going to win re-election. But he's not allowed to put up red states and blue states because that would be political. And he says, oh, I don't need to. I know which ones they are, right? Why are we paying the president's political operative? I don't want to pay it. Even if I want the president to beat Mitt Romney, I don't want to pay for his political operatives, whether it's Axelrod or Plouffe. And is the Justice Department politicized? Are you kidding me? Look, last week we talked about what happened in the John Edwards case. John Edwards was acquitted on one charge, and then the rest the jury was deadlocked on. It was declared a mistrial. It was, in fact, an absurd case against John Edwards. Why? Now, they could have tried him on something that I think would have made sense, taking donations from people like you and then using it to pay his mistress. I think that would have been a very fair prosecution. That's what originally got me angry about John Edwards and all of his ridiculous personal shenanigans in the first place. But instead, they charged him with some weird thing about how he got donor money that was not for his campaign, but was given to his mistress directly. But they said, well, indirectly, that would be for his campaign, and hence he violated some rules. Well, lawyers said that that was an unprecedented charge, and they pursued this bizarre, weird, unprecedented charge against Edwards anyway. Why? Because the Justice Department is massively politicized. Because President Obama wants to prove, look at me, I'm going after Democrats. Look at me, I went after a really, really unpopular politician. Wow, you're so tough. You're so tough. John Edwards' popularity is down to 3%, lowest of any politician in U.S. history. He's, of course, no longer a politician. And, of course, he was having the affair while his wife had cancer. She wound up dying. He denied it all. He lied through it all. It's not surprising to find John Edwards is unpopular. I don't like the guy. And the minute He said that it wasn't his child. I said, nonsense. I'm calling it right now. It's definitely his child. He definitely had that affair. We were right about that. John Edwards is not a good guy. But you're telling me that you only look forwards, you never look backwards? That's why you can't go after anybody in the Bush administration. You can't go after any of the top bankers if you're Eric Holder in the Justice Department that claims not to be politicized. But the minute you get a guy who's fallen, who, by the way, was also your former rival in the Democratic primary, but I don't think that's what it is. I think it's that, ha-ha, look at me being tough on a Democrat. I'm so bipartisan, and I beat up on an unpopular politician. And I made up this crazy charge. But I tell you every day, the bankers, we don't have anything on them. We don't have anything. Well, what could we do? Oh, we have emails that say, this stuff is toxic. It's crap, but let's sell it to the public anyway. Oh, no. We couldn't possibly prosecute on that. But John Edwards, let's try some legal theory that's never been heard of to try to prosecute you. Why? Because I got news for you. The Justice Department is massively politicized. So for Eric Holder to complain about David Axelrod, showing that in the public is a joke. Oh my God, you hurt my feelings by letting the American people slightly know how much we make political decisions at the Justice Department. President Obama said to them, you are not to do any prosecutions of the bankers. You are not to do any prosecution of the Bush administration officials. That's exactly what Eric Holder did. He doesn't give a damn about the law. All he cares about is politics. That's the same Eric Holder that came out and said, oh, no, when we execute U.S. citizens abroad without a trial, it's okay. Because due process is not necessarily judicial process. In other words, a couple of guys at the White House can get together and make a political decision to execute a U.S. citizen, and we're supposed to trust them on that, and it's okay that they didn't receive a trial. Well, it's not okay. Nothing about this Justice Department is okay. And by the way, of course, none of that is what the Republicans pursue. They don't go after him for the extrajudicial killings. They, of course, don't go after him for not going after the Bush administration guys or the bankers. They love that he let him off scot-free. They certainly don't go after him for going after John Edwards on some weird charges they made up. No, what's the only thing they talk about? Oh, my God, I can't believe he did the guns that wound up in Mexico. Now, that's bad, too. That's called Fast and Furious. It's been a debacle under Eric Holder, okay? But of course, the Republicans love it when they protect his ass and when Holder goes after Democrats. So you get no criticism about Holder on those grounds.